Zoe Bradbury is a beginning young farmer in Oregon. Susanne Moua, she runs, I think it's close to a 25-member CSA and a UPIC and farms increasingly year-round. And she does this in down. Aaron Schneider is a beginning young farmer also in Wisconsin, and Aaron is passionate about things I can't pronounce, these funky, perennial, hardy Midwest fruits, as she calls it. Anne and Liz are examples, inspiring examples of women who enter farming in midlife. One of their sons was a chef in Philadelphia and was at the time having a hard time accessing fresh local produce and was complaining to his mom. And what do you do when your son complains about lack of fresh local produce for his restaurant operation? You start a farm, which is what these women did, and had a great time doing it and did it very well, except they were realizing increasingly that the tools they were using just weren't designed for their body, i.e. small-scale, sustainable hand tools are not designed for a woman's body. And it's not a question of even strength or right or wrong, it's just how we're built and how we're different than men. So rather than complain or just soak in the tub with sore muscles, Anne and Liz saw this as an opportunity and started a business called Green Heron Tools. The green heron is the only bird that uses its beak as a tool, hence the name. And they basically are redesigning tools for women farmers. And this is a larger operation. They are partnering with Penn State University and doing strong research behind their efforts. And they also applied for and received what's called SBIR funding, Small Business Innovation Research Grants, that help fund these innovative agriculture businesses. Again, their business was pretty far down the line, but programs like SBIR, specifically in the call for proposals, encourage women to apply. And you see this increasingly and hopefully more with the next farm bill. Women still qualify as what's called socially disadvantaged farmers. So in some programs, but not all, there are set aside funds for women who apply. Moving on to these 10 fresh idea seeds. What are some ways these women are approaching business as unusual? Katie Weed, she had a fundamental year last year. She got married, she moved to the farm with her husband Logan, and actually, now that I'm looking at this, I need to update their slide because they're no longer in Reedsburg. Last season, they rented land in Reedsburg and got, as Katie puts it, their rookie season up and running. They recruited friends and family to be their CSA members. So a little less pressure there and a lot more enthusiasm they found. And lo and behold, and not surprisingly, at the end of the season, they found they were passionate about farming and wanted to continue. And just recently purchased their own farm in the Lafarge area, same general area, but now have their own land. But are very creative again in how they do that, and didn't go out and buy the farm right away. Rented that first year to make sure that this is what they wanted to do, and this area is where they wanted to be. Collaborate with friends. That's a piece of advice we seem to always hear of. Don't work with your friends, or I hear don't work with your spouse. Well, what if you actually like your friends or your spouse? And often this can be a very good working relationship. Christy and Carrie met at the Dane County Farmers Market in May. Blending practical and passionate. I am amazed by the number of businesses I see that women start in the food realm that are based on the fact that they just had a lot of something. So Diana Murphy, she had a small kind of hobby farm, I think, more at the time, and she had some goats, and she loved these goats and was milking. Garnering inspiration from abundance, a similar theme to Diana. Jordan and her husband Todd, they actually, before they started their operation, they spent some time traveling. question your role. Sometimes we start off at point A and we need to remember that not even point B, but point C, D, E are options as well. Integrating children, however this may be, it's an important aspect with a lot of women who start these kind of food-based businesses. You see our son Liam there on the left, and diversification continues to be a theme we're talking about here, and I wanted to share a little bit more on our personal story. I mentioned renewable energy. If you look at the picture of the farmhouse, you see solar panels on the top of the roofs. That's for our hot water. It's a solar thermal system. So our guests take showers heated by the sun, complements the sun. But our primary source of energy on the farm is through wind. We have a wind turbine as well, and have a lot of other energy saving, energy conservation things going on to reduce our load. But that is an important part of our business pie, in that by working with these renewable energy systems, and we have a lot more information on our website and our books, Rural Renaissance and Ecopreneuring, on the specifics and the costs, because yes, it is an investment, but it's one that you can look at both from a payback perspective and, importantly, a longevity for the future perspective of us wanting to get out of fossil fuel dependency. But again, all these different things of not paying the utility but getting a check back add up to a diversified, stronger business, in that if one year we don't have so much wind as we're seeing increasingly with climate change, well, maybe the B&B side will pick up, or we'll be doing more article writing, or things will still even out because we have more options out there. Also related to that business side of things is creating businesses that reflect conscious decisions along the way and doing things smartly from a business perspective. So here I have an example of our bed and breakfast where we've always focused on the food side, but it's great to see the increase in the local food movement and folks coming here specifically because we serve a local seasonal breakfast. And that way we can get away with some more fun things. You might notice there the side is not your expected potatoes, which most folks have with eggs as a side at the local diner, but we can have fun with it. And those are roasted root crops with beets and turnips and parsnips. We had a little bit of a challenge with drinks for the B&B because things people expect for breakfast, like orange juice, for example, or citrus juices, we can't grow here in Wisconsin. We've got some papaya experiments in our straw bale greenhouse, but they're not quite there yet. So what else can we do? Well, hey, we're in the heart of the dairy land. So that pink drink you see there is actually a fruit smoothie. So we have a local yogurt maker that we buy from, and then blend that up with either fresh or frozen fruit from the garden. Tapping into multiple economies of ecopreneurship. This again has to do under that theme of diversification, that there's ways to get out of that paycheck mentality that you have to earn money to go out and buy what you need. Really. One thing that we use a lot, and Chris Marion at Circle M Farm does too, is that idea of barter and working in community, and that there's this exchange between our neighbors that keeps things going back and forth. If we don't have zucchini one year, which we don't, we can get some from our neighbor's farm down the road, or vice versa, and we help support each other. But again, that's less income that needs to be earned because things are being bartered back and forth. And also looking at different layers of income under that diversification umbrella. Chris, they run they do meat sales, and they have a CSA as well. And Chris is a real artistic person and into the fiber side, so she teaches fiber classes in the off season and is musically talented as well, plays in a local band. So these are all, again, different